must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Viewers, good morning. This morning, I want to address the issue of Uhuru Kenyatta's legacy. The legacy of His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta of Kenya keeps on moving, keeps on going forward and forward. Since the handshake in 2018, that brought about the peace, the tranquility, the unity of purpose, President Uhuru's star has been rising. All over Africa, people are thinking of using the model that Kenya used to stop any form of violence, chaos on the streets after elections. As you know, all of you are aware that elections in Africa produce two things: after or before or after the voting. Disputed elections, winner takes it all, loser doesn't accept the results. But the Kenyan model takes us miles and miles away from the normal type of democracy. The democracy, a negotiated format, a consensus format. A democracy that gives consensus a chance. A democracy that talks about the future of a country, the unity of a country, as opposed to a fragmented country, polarized country, where most African countries find themselves in. We have seen in the last 10 years or so, most of the elections in Africa have been contested by the opposition. Very few people in Africa, countries in Africa, where opposition has conceded defeat and come up to congratulate the winner. We have seen the South African model has worked very well. The Ghanaian model has worked so well. I don't see any other country in Africa where the models have worked well. I thought it would be Sierra Leone, but today we see Sierra Leone going back to the same ethnic tensions, as you can see from the reports that are circulating in the international media and the local media. So elections in Africa are contentious issues. They create a contentious position, create a departing point for the people of Africa, of that particular nation. The legacy of Uhuru Kenyatta, therefore, will be remembered for having brought the tranquility that we have today, the peace, the new format, the new tool of having a better organized civil Africa, an Africa without violence, an Africa without chaos after elections, when the opposition accepts to work for the interests of a nation, not personal interests. This has worked in Kenya, and thank you very much, Your Excellency President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, for the tenacity and the steadfastness that you have guided this handshake up to today. For those who want to mutilate the handshake, belittle the handshake. One lesson they should learn is to look at Libya. Libya was once a territory we all respected. It is no more. Let's keep the handshake and the legacy of President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Thank you.
Launching the BBI Task Force report. Makofi.
Your Excellency, I am very happy that the document, the recommendations, and the proposals that have been put forward informs us on how to build institutions to get our politics away from personalities and ethnicities to institutions that will carry all of us irrespective of who we are, where we come from, the language we speak, or the political party we subscribe to.
Kusema ya kwamba pesa mingi ije mashinani, tunaunga mkono. Ipelekwe mpaka ifike kama kuanzia 35% kuelekea juu. Hiyo pesa itumike kwa mambo ya maendeleo, not for consumption. Recurrent expenditure should not be above 30%. 70% should go for development.
Ni kwa nini baada ya kila miaka mitano tunaenda miaka mitatu ya kazi, miaka ya 2 tunapoteza kwa sababu siasa imechacha? Tunataka tuulize wafanyabiashara wetu wenzetu, ni nini inawazuia? Ni nini tuwaweza kufanya ndio tuhakikishe ya kwamba biashara zenu hazisimami? We must have development plans that are 20 years plus if we are to resolve our problems, my brothers and sisters. Tunataka tuwapatie assurance ya kwamba wanaweza kupatia wananchi mikopo ya miaka 10, miaka 15, kwa sababu they have confidence ya kwamba Kenya will be stable and Kenya will always have leadership, whoever it is.
diplomatic ties were established between our countries. That was respectively on the 17th and 18th December. And I believe that our meeting is going to give an additional impetus to strengthening our relationship. Of course, our priority is the development of trade and economic ties, as well as ensuring a stable increase in our trade. In 2018, we saw an increase in the indicators. It was an increase of 1.2%. I refer to our bilateral trade. And we are very glad that some companies have managed to establish a solid position in the Kenyan market, and I do hope that we'll talk about that in detail today. Thank you.
Russia-Africa Economic Forum and Summit, I believe, will present not just Russia and Kenya, but Russia and Africa with significant opportunities to really reshape and expand our relations, both at the bilateral level, as I said, the multilateral level, but also to rekindle, in your own words, the historic relations between Russia and Africa. Indeed, again, as you have stated, Africa's aspirations for freedom and liberty was greatly enriched by the relationship with Russia. Our founding fathers, including my own father, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, drew great vision from the Soviet Union, and for that, we remain grateful. Your Excellency, to preserve this history and heritage, indeed, one of the requests I'm going to put to you is we would like you to facilitate a coalition and retrieval of some of the information and material that may be here in Russia relating to the activities and the histories of Kenya's freedom fighters, including that of Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. This is something that we would truly appreciate, and at some stage would like to send some of our officials to work with your own historians and archivists to see what we can do to put that history together and preserve it for posterity. Mr. President, I also believe that this forum you have organized offers, again, Russia and Africa the opportunity to focus on ways and means of expanding our political, economic, technical, cultural, and educational interests in a manner that serves both our countries and promotes Russia's partnership with the African Union.
Launching the BBI task force report. Makofi.
Your Excellency, I am very happy that the document, the recommendations, and the proposals that have been put forward informs us on how to build institutions to get our politics away from personalities and ethnicities to institutions that will carry all of us, irrespective of who we are, where we come from, the language we speak, or the political party we subscribe to.
Kusema ya kwamba pesa mingi ije mashinani, tunaunga mkono. Ipelekwe mpaka ifike kama kuanzia 35% kuelekea juu. Hiyo pesa itumike kwa mambo ya maendeleo, not for consumption. Recurrent expenditure should not be above 30%. 70% should go for development.
Ni kwa nini baada ya kila miaka mitano tunaenda miaka mitatu ya kazi, miaka ya mbili tunapoteza kwa sababu siasa imechacha? Tunataka tuulize wafanyabiashara wetu wenzetu, ni nini inawazuia? Ni nini tuwaweza kufanya ndio tuhakikishe ya kwamba biashara zenu hazisimami? We must have development plans that are 20 years plus if we are to resolve our problems, my brothers and sisters. Tunataka tuwapatie assurance ya kwamba wanaweza kupatia wananchi mikopo ya miaka 10, miaka 15, kwa sababu they have confidence ya kwamba Kenya will be stable and Kenya will always have leadership, whoever it is.
Good evening, viewers. Welcome to Punchline Africa TV, broadcasting from Nairobi. It is a few minutes past, 10 minutes past 8 o'clock East African Standard Time, right in Nairobi, and simultaneously broadcasting in London and Harare and other parts of the world. Good evening. This show is called The Punch. We punch our way out. We pick up a topic that is very exciting in Africa. We hammer it, we look at it, we change it, we even, utilize it. We give solutions to the difficulties that we have in Africa, as Africans, by Africans, for Africa. This is The Punch. This is the television station for Pan-Africans, Pan-Africanism in the diaspora and in Africa. Wherever you are, with our sister company, the South Cameroon Broadcasting Corporation, those in Kenya who might miss us here, you will see us on Zuku. You just need to go on Zuku whenever you see the side of CBC together with Punchline. You will see us live, or you will see us speaking on Zuku. Those in Kenya can receive, and your views you can exchange, you can watch us again. Thank you very much for your patronage for the whole last 4 years. I have been down here talking, and lastly yesterday, what I had wanted so much in Africa arrived. That is redemption strategy. We've been in the studio to come up, discuss this, dissect it, give solutions, way forward, where obstacles. Remember, the president said, everybody, whoever, whatever you are, enjoy the reading over Christmas. It's relax. If you have a problem, some of us will have hotlines where you can call us. Call Punchline, call this man. This man here is a conflict resolution expert, not a journalist. I studied journalism as by the way. But my core subject, political science, international relations, bias, stroke, conflict resolution expert, a redemption strategy. You know, many people in Kenya seem to have been confused, Miriam, because it is called BBI. I want today, after you have tested the microphone, I want to go and tell the Kenyans what it means, what it is. It is not a booklet. It is a process. So over to you, Miriam.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Thank you for watching us. I see you're watching us from across the world. Thank you indeed. And what we're talking about today is the BBI report of after a long wait for it to be given to the public. Yesterday, finally, it was launched, and President Uhuru Kenyatta was able to make some of this content, or not some, all of this content at the BBI report to be available to the members of public. So now, as we said from a few days ago, after receiving this report, now we can be able to talk about the content and knowing what is in there, and not just on speculation. So moving forward, we'll be looking at some of the issues that have been mentioned in this BBI report. And yesterday, if you were watching, we were airing live images from the Bomas of Kenya, where the launching of the BBI was taking place, and we saw a host of leaders, coming in and talking about it. The others who, but majority of everybody who was present there was very, excited about this new BBI, and it was a shock to see that even some politicians or some members of public who were not very much in support of the BBI process, especially during the period it was being prepared, we saw a turnaround, and Kenyans are now just wondering what is happening. And if you a Kenyan and you've been on Twitter or any other social media site, there has been talks about tsunamis and things like that. But as we all know, or as the president said, this is a document for all of us. Let us interrogate it. Don't assume because somebody else has read it for you and told you it's good or it's bad, then now you should take that their word on that. You should take your time, go get the document, download it. It's available, and I think perhaps it will be made available to the public, and then you can go download it if you're a Kenyan and read it for yourself. And then I think we have a month to just take a look at it, and then later on the process will continue, and we see whether it will go parliamentary way or the popular initiative, but that is the bridge we will cross when we get there.
Thank you very much, Miriam. Thank you for bringing out issues. BBI is a process to redemption. First of all, Kenyans, I want to explain to you, wherever you are, I'm explaining from a background of a man who has suffered from a conflict that actually, out of 59 years of our independence, we have had only peaceful years accountable. Uganda was engulfed in conflict after conflict, overthrow of military after military from 1966. Our lives have never been the same. Our lives have been tortured one way or the other, maimed one way or the other, limbs one way or the other. There is sorrow. There was sorrow, and there is sorrow in Uganda. It was. The last war in Uganda ended in 2008. 2005, when we started a peace negotiation between the Lord Resistance Army and President Yoweri Gakuta Museveni. I want to thank the President of the Republic of Uganda for the first time to have accepted to talk, because he never wanted to talk. But the conflict was eating money from the budget. Defense was the most expensive ministry. It's because of a conflict. But from this background, why I am trying to explain what a redemption strategy is. People, the UN, EU, AU, East African Community, SADC, we had all observers from all these organizations. The British government said you must go and take part in the negotiations. Make sure that peace returns. I just want to thank Gordon Brown, the former Prime Minister, who issued a letter of permission, because the Lord Resistance Army had been proscribed as a terrorist group, and therefore you could not go and have any discussion with them and come back and we sit with other people. So I want to thank them, and I want to thank the EU. I want to thank the foreign ministers of African Union and the Kisano, in particular, Dr. Riakamacha, Dr. Ruakana Rugunda, myself, and Chikwete, Kibaki, Moses Wetangula. These are the people who stood firm. And above all, the Uganda government, President Museveni himself, who agreed that peace had to start rolling. So from this background of a peace process, there are things that I learned as a student of conflict resolution. I saw it practically. What is a redemption strategy? Raila Amolo Odinga has been quarreling. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta has been taking part in elections. From 1992, this country has been in a mood of a fight. For every day of an election, there has been a fight. So what do? Anger accumulated, hatred accumulated, accrued like rent arrears. When the rent accrues on your property, your landlord, when you hear any steps of a cat passing outside, you think he's the one locking your building. That is the type of thing we are in. That's the type of thing that Kenyans are in. Because when they hear the word election, everything runs to, I should carry my goods, I should carry my goats, I should carry my suitcase, my bag, and go to Shagu. I will come back to Nairobi. That anger has been building. And it was building and building and building. It exploded in 1992. It exploded in 2007. In 1997, it exploded in 2007, which was not by international community this time. Although we shall talk about the international community which came in, which is bogus. Because tomorrow we shall discuss it at 11 p.m. I have a statement to issue on the ICC because I am a victim of those who were wrongly picked out, and therefore I've instructed my lawyers. I'm waiting for their statement to come, and I'll talk about it tomorrow. So in 2007, after the case has collapsed, there was anger built again. Those who accused the others and those who are accused. We had the two sides going to an election. They made a pact. There was no violence in 2013. 2017 in Kenya was more or less like a Uhuru Jambo, a Jambo for free for all, Banana Republic. People even took off shirts and slept on the road. Raila Amolo Odinga and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta said, no, this country needs a stop. They did the stop. But what is a redemption? Redemption is this. Redemption is truth-telling. If you don't want to be in this thing, just say so. Truth-telling. Tell the truth. Redemption can come if accountability. That Kenyan is here. Siwezi kuzungumza like Mtanzania ule ya jana. Sisi wote na yeye tulikuwa watu ya Nyerere. Sitaki kuzungumza namna hivyo, lakini wacha nizungumze. You'll translate for the English speakers. Accountability. Truth, accountability. Number 3, in a redemption strategy, you need reconciliation. After you have told the truth, you have accounted for what you have talked, you move to reconcile. After reconciliation, you do forgiveness. We are still talking about a redemption strategy. And let people listen. And the Kenyans, please don't be misled. Listen to me. I'm talking for an experience of a man wounded who has lost father, wife, and people out of a conflict. I don't want tears here. But I'm speaking the truth so that Kenyans can see what it means not to have violence. Forgiveness. After forgiveness, you have done accountability. You have done truth-telling. You have reconciled. You move to reparations. Reparate. Reparate people. Accountability can be in alternative mechanisms of justice. Alternative mechanisms of justice. Create them. Gachacha courts. Rwanda is no longer bleeding. Rwanda is quiet because the people who killed have come to say, hello, forgive me. Remorsefulness, forgive me. I killed your parents, but let me stay with you. Kenya has got to move in this direction. What they are doing today is what was called agenda number 4. I'm now telling the truth. Let's move on. After forgiveness, you come to the most important thing, reparation. Reparate. Reparations. There are still IDPs in this country. And people don't want to talk about it. Don't mislead people. You cannot talk about this is document, process it, talk as and say, I am on somebody's land and this person is here, he's alive. Can you come and take it? Take it back. And I say, if you allow me to stay here, I will stay. But this is your land. They are IDPs. They are internally displaced people. Their land has been taken. We have a problem. Reparate. 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 Reparate people. Give them the life back. I'm teaching now today. From reparation, there is one thing that you must do. And if you don't do it, you fail. That's why South Sudan has failed. You can't do it from a political angle. The peace process in South Sudan failed because, and it's going to fail because IGAD does not listen. These foreign ministers here eat the money of these countries every day. Free. They don't know what it is. They can't even get the peace process correct because they started on the wrong footing. I'm the foreign minister. They will fail. Those 2 guys are going to prison. They are going somewhere in the UN mandated tribunal. Restitution. I hope you are writing down, Miriam. Restitution. To restitute. You reparate and restitute. In restitution is where you have people being restituted in their former places. People who have grudges come back and say, I'm sorry. This is your house. Government helps them to settle down. And that is why this BBI is a process. It is a process in the sense that the government has now brought up a roadmap. It's not a document. I had one lawyer this morning, a wife of my friend. I like this lady so much, but I don't know what has gone in her head. She said the document is Lamentations, the book of Lamentation. Surely, Madame Cholet, Mrs. Cholet, with due respect, you read environmental law. So leave us who read the right things to discuss this topic. You can't call a BBI lamentation, the book of lamentation, because she was not captured. But can she restitute? Can she restitute people? Are you seeing what I'm saying? I'm talking the truth, yeah. Somebody who has a house sleeps in a boys' quarters in Nairobi. And you sleep in his house. Have you restituted? Kenyans, come up, man. Have you restituted? You had a shop. Someone is selling the shop. You pass by, there is no restitution. That's why Uhuru Kenyatta, Raila Odinga, sat down and said enough is enough. We need our country back. That's why Matanga sat down with a man who has made you run and run and run and run and even done more havoc. And we shook hands. The way northern Uganda ended. My Luo people, beautiful tall ladies from Luo, went back. They were sleeping in camps. One room with their 80 children. How can you produce the 9th? They suffered in concentration camps. They went back. May God help me wherever I go. I have done my job. Go ye. I have no problem with Museveni. The only problem I had with him is that. And the other problem is my money, my allowance. That's all. But as long as the peace in northern Uganda holds, he can eat it. Let him eat and grow. My allowance was not paid. But I am a happy man. I restituted myself. I want to thank Mugabe for helping me to clear the bill. When I went to London, my house was being taken away after 4 years in the bush looking for peace for my country. But I restituted. I grew up. Finally, the Kenyans must know redemption strategy. This is not, don't misuse this word, oh, big Y, big eyes and big small and what. People are talking carelessly. An election is coming. You are already having daggers. Did you see Murkomen yesterday? Did you see Senator Murkomen yesterday? Did you see the anger of a non-restituted person? Did you see it? You Kenyans, did you see it? A non-restituted. He's not restituted. He hasn't restituted his heart. He has anger. He could have sent a note to Junet, even if he doesn't like him, to say, hello, you are only choosing people from one side. But in front of a visitor, a Tanzanian foreign minister, and then you are going to wear your suit and travel to Dodoma, that you will be welcome, the leader of majority. Restitution. Restitution. Restitute your hearts. Restitute your hearts. And those components which I have delivered, Miriam, form what we call, finally, once you have gone through this, once Riaka Macha, once Silver Key, Mr. is it Silver? No, Salva Key. His Excellency Salva Key tells the truth, accounts for 384 people, reconciles them, forgiveness starts, reparation starts, restitution starts, is called a healing period. You have healed Any questions? Any questions, students? Wherever you are, get a pen, and the Kenyans who are reading this book, I can see some small boys and the younger men, women, play with Facebook, but don't play with material here. Some of us have material which is deadly here. It's deadly. It can lecture. If we should be allowed to lecture to people openly and tell people off. You should not allow people to be confused. Where there is a problem, the president should set up, the government should set up sensitizing centers for people, not to allow people only to read. People would read, but you should set up centers so that everybody reads. Why does he want a prime minister? Why does he want an extra, why does he want this? Why does he want that? Why does he want that? Let people read, but there must be people who must explain why we are doing this. The whole of Kenya yesterday looked political. The one aspect of what you did yesterday was political. Was political, and here, don't steal ideas and then don't come back to ask the owners. It was political. This, what was done yesterday was political. You saw people, and what can I tell you the category they are in? That's the category of truth telling. What Atwoli did was truth. Don't cut him off. Don't cut him off. He needs restitution. What Murkomen did yesterday, don't get annoyed with him. He needs help. What Duale said yesterday, he is vomiting out the truth. He needs help. He has not gone through all these stages. So even the Duale, let's first start lecturing to the MPs. Unfortunately in Kenya, when they call for this prayer breakfast, and they don't call us. They don't call a man like Matanga. They want to call professor who professor. I am a professor who read this thing with pain while sweeping streets. I was not given a scholarship by George Soros. I read while washing toilets of trains from London to Glasgow with a book when you get break before your supervisor comes. And you know how Bazungu, they eat so many things. You know how a toilet looks like. So I don't want to go into those problems. I've suffered on this. And I have the material. It's here. Ask. Don't run with. You see why? You see why people are running now? Why they are running, they are saying a lamentation book. A whole lawyer who was a chief registrar of the High Court is busy lecturing on TV about lamentations. Why Kenya talked out yesterday is not lamentations. It is the truth that this country is in chaos. It is the truth that if we keep quiet, an election is coming, we are going to get arrows, we are going to get pangas, we are going to displace people, we are going to remove those who were partly repatriated, we are going to kill each other, we are going to call morticians, we are going to extend the city mortuary with tents. Hey! Tell me, it's here. I have done my best. The Tanzanian foreign minister is not a Kenyan, but he came to lecture to you. And maybe foreigners. That's why Jesus moved and sent Paul. God sent Paul away to go and preach. Because the real people could not believe. Amongst them, none of them. So Nyundi, Henry, maybe you are in trouble. Mulukomen needs redemption, needs restitution, needs healing, needs manners. Good manners. I don't know how he behaves in his house.
But he has since made a turnaround. Is it perhaps maybe he's too proud to swallow,
It's his country. It is his country. He there's no need of turning around. This is a punch, and I tell the truth. What you need is a heart of the 5 of the 6. Have you not? But maybe, Miriam, you are a very slow speaker and a very nice speaker in English. Read them. If this is lacking, walai, if this is work not there, if these components are not there, which is the basis of the BBI, you just named it BBI. The whole thing is called a redemption strategy. And maybe that's why people got confused somewhere. What is BBI? Then they went to say BBI said bereka baba kwa ikulu. You know, playing with something which is very important. It is not Raila. It is not Uhuru Kenyatta. It is the country. Can Kenyans notice, and I want to be frank here, that as you release your BBI, another woman with several skirts in Hague also arrived with her BBI. Be careful. Be careful. Matanga, I'm still there. I will help. I will help. I will help. Even those who never said thank you to me, I will help. Because when I hate international agencies that behave against the law, I hate them. And this one here, you can't beat Matanga on international law. Try me. Try me. Where is your case in Somalia? Where is it? Where is it? All of them were, what do you do? Well, even the Attorney General filing a case to a judge who is Somali. I just went for 3 breakfasts and the night breakfast. Where is the judge? Poop, he had to run. Either faces my charge sheet or he retires early. Didn't I conquer? Then they came back and say, oh, we have got an extension up to June. How did you get it? Mwambia President Haki. How did you get it? So this Ugandan, it's out every day. There are so many things that I'm doing. That case will be heard in 2027. Pray with Famijo. You are on the notes. You might not even be there. You'll be a spectator. You don't touch me and you know. In the international scene, touch and you see. Try. Try. So why don't you release your BBI? Another a hawk wants to leave office and she's hawking around Kenya. Oh, I missed this, Matanga. I missed this. Have you seen what she's doing? To get a window. People here, they don't have it. They are not doing it. They are not seeing what is coming. Embrace. Work. Whether embrace, whether inua, whether what. Work together. Work together. Work together on those 5 points. The worst mistake is maybe the elders, Elder Haji and I don't know why Karau did not call us. Some of us are very useful. But as usual, some people who make mistakes can't call others because you know their mistake already. So I don't want to say it here. We should have explained. Let's explain this thing in those terms. Don't explain it for political. It is that. that Uhuru Kenyatta is seeking. It is that Raila Odinga is seeking, how to heal the wounds that have broken this society. Thank you very much. Over to you.
And yesterday, when President Uhuru Kenyatta and, of course, Raila Odinga had a chance to talk, they felt it was important to revisit, the chaos that have been happening around electioneering period from 1992, 97, and so forth, and 2007, and 2013 and 2017. They felt it was important, and also they gave a brief history on why they felt it was important to come together, and even what culminated for them to even to come and agree that BBI was the way to heal the country. And while they were talking, they sort of confessed, and I felt as though, including also a leader like Kalonzo Musyoka, who came out and also, I think, he repented, calling president names and things like that. And also the president as well. They confessed, during the campaigns, we called each other names and things. So it was very difficult for them to come together. So we saw some aspects of the healing process taking place there, them taking accountability and truth and seeking for forgiveness to some extent. But now these other aspects also of this healing process and redemption strategy that you just mentioned, it has to go all the way until restitution. So how can we get there outside, and how can this forgiveness and this reconciliation among the top leadership, how can it be helped to trickle down to the mashinani? Because I don't know how Kenyans are feeling down there in the roots.
Most Kenyans are happy to read the document, and they will read. But the narrative must change from a political narrative to a healing narrative. And anybody out there who is near the government and near the president and near Raila Odinga, the two must lead the narrative of healing, not the narrative of a political positioning. Because even right now, here, allocation to counties to be increased. Have you seen where we have gone wrong? People have already, the narrative of political positioning. Counties must be given money. But you can't give the counties money to which are sick. They are sick. Ask me how sick they are. Corruption.
Yes.
The most important thing to clean here is corruption. How do we get rid of corruption from the counties before you give them 35%? Whatever mayor you are going to elect, the county governor you are going to elect will be corrupt and will eat the money, and you will come back to drawing board. So how do you heal? You must heal. You must have those things. The governor must say, I stole some money, but gentlemen, take some back. There must be a process there. It is good they have mentioned about EACC to strengthen its role in management in corruption.
And also on corruption, yesterday I was just taking some notes while watching that, and a few suggestions were made there, and they're saying the anti-corruption sting campaign should start, and then the punishment on corruption and the people who are aiding corruption, even in who are not just corrupt, but also those who are aiding corruption as well, including the judges, and protecting the corrupt. Also, there should be some punitive measures for them, and also they were saying that to make sure that corruption cases get to effectively being tried and the people to face trial, then there should be some level of intelligence-led evidence. I don't know how that is going to work out for us, and also public officers should not do business with the government. I think that is the major point that I even saw the delegates there clapping. So public officials should not do business with the government, and this was before. I think until some point it changed, but this was the law before, and there was a reason why this was.
Someone brought in emotion and changed it. But the truth comes here. And this is the truth, and this is the punch, that if you're a government official, then you are awarding a tender to yourself or to your wife, then you should just go home and do business with your wife so that you supply the food direct to the ministry. Other than earning the salary, then you go and supply, then you write the check yourself, then deliver the check, then cash it. That is a punch. That's where things are. And I'm telling you, the most important punch tonight is change the narrative. From the political narrative to a healing narrative. If Kenya does not change the narrative, if Kenya does not change the narrative to a healing process, part of the anger which is still amongst the people is I had a house and I see my house, smoke is coming out of my house and you are in my house and I'm sleeping in a boys' quarters in Nairobi or in Nakuru or in Eldoret or in Bungoma or Kisumu.
Or Kampala.
Or Kampala. Or Mbale in my place.
Uganda, yes.
Why I'm speaking with real authority is today in my village, and they are watching me. I have 28 Kenyans, Kikuyu Kenyans, with shops, Safaricom, and they are doing very well. Nobody has chased them out of Uganda. They are there. They are a product of that. Some of them, when they tell you the stories, you can't believe. I had 200 cows, I have 5 cows. Restitute. This thing is, people are fearing to talk about it. But it's one of the problems why when you go to the social media, unaandika jina ya President Uhuru Kenyatta is a very good man. Hey! They come for you. They come for you. They come for you. They say, look at this Ugandan. Look at this bad fat man. Look at the hippo. I have been called names. A hippo has children. Well organized and very clever. All of them, nobody has not gone to school. But I'm insulted. For the sake of the president, I stick my life there. I write every morning. 4 a.m. I'm writing. The legacy, it is there on the record. You can, if you don't know how to read English, interpret it. Or ask me, I'll explain some of the words. But do you know why that anger is there? It can be seen through Murkomen. So, imagine we had another Murkomen who looks like Babu Owino, who wanted to come. Because yesterday you saw Babu Owino wanted to jump over people to come for Murkomen. You saw.
He was quite agitated.
It was agitated. So because there is something, Miriam, there is hiko kitu inauma.
They're still very vengeful.
Yes, hiko kitu inauma watu. Murkomen, before this, the younger man was saying he's not coming. Then overnight he came, which is very good. But don't blame him too much. We need to educate him slowly and slowly to restitute. The word is restitution. Not the money he keeps in the safe. The Shuji safe, I'm told he has a big Shuji safe where he kept euros and dollars. But those type from NYS money. So these type of things, this is a punch. I say it. Yes, because he was there and we said he was acting as a lawyer. So him and Mutahi Ngunya, I've never liked them. One said he forgot. He didn't know there was money on his account. How? An intellectual? A professor? You don't check your accounts? Even Rockefeller checks his account. If he was alive, Rockefeller or Ford would check. Would check their accounts. So let's go step by step, educate people, a redemption strategy, not a political strategy. why the South Sudan conflict will never end is the manner in which the narrative of politics
and the peace process has been anchored
around
politics and power sharing. Include
the vice president. Appoint Mrs. Garanga as a vice, number 4. Appoint another one vice. They have now 5 vice presidents.
So Machar is the first one.
Yeah, the first one, then the rest came to accommodate. If we go like that, we shall end up.
Well, that has not solved any problems in South Sudan.
It doesn't. So this thing, it's good. The president made it very clear that people not hijack and turn it into a political game over rallies over Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Do you know what? Can I tell you a secret today? When it reaches Friday in this country, I just ask whether if I had a drink, I drink and sleep and switch off TV. There are certain people I don't want to see in their faces on TV, because as soon as you see like this, you know that there is trouble now. The whole weekend, you know now, this is a period of reconciliation. We shall try and read. People are going to start reading for others. There's a rally here. Let's read. There's a rally here. Let's read. The local people end up not reading. You have seen the pronouncements people are making now? Yesterday, it was only yesterday.
Even that joke that...
Even ODM has not now taken a position. Have you seen? They say no. It is a public thing. We end up referendum, not parliament. That is it. That's where we are now. Have you seen that? We are there. It will need President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila again to take 19 hours without drinking tea.
It is very necessary. They drank so much of it.
I don't know how they were looking in the room. How is the wife? How is... you know, it happens. The first time I met him 7. I think President Uhuru Kenyatta is correct. I met President Museveni in Nakasero State House for the first time. For the first time on November 22nd, after 26 years. Because whenever he comes to London, tunachapana tear gas paka police ikuje. I could surround the whole hall. I'm now telling you, this is confessing. I'm telling you the truth. Whenever President Museveni comes and we smell is in the hotel, I am a very good mobilizer. Very good mobilizer, my dear sister. If I go to London and I say, "Hello," and I go back to my old tactics, the whole of London, all these Ugandans, they believe in me. I could mobilize over 4,000. And the British police said, we only told you to bring 150. I said, I can't control them.
So Museveni had a crude hate,
yes.
dislike.
For me?
For you, yes.
Yes. We used to have a running battle. And then the best thing that we used to do, I entered because I am accredited, there's nothing you can do for me. I'm accredited in London. There's no conference in London that you can stop me. You have seen my card. And my card as a journalist, a Commonwealth journalist, I enter anywhere, including 10 Downing Street. There is nowhere you can stop me. So I could go in. Then they said the man who brought them is here and they are there breaking things outside. I said, I don't know. I called 150, but apparently 3,000 arrived. You get the point? So, President Uhuru Kenyatta is right when he said he sat in the house with a man. This is a man who had said, when I find you, you better talk from here. You know, and now I found myself, Chisano, Riek Machar, several dignitaries were in one room. Not even a room, a table. His table where he sits his cabinet. For a long time, he tried to crack jokes. I refused. He cracked the second jokes. Then Rugunda was seated near me. This is Rugunda and myself. Riaka is there. Chisano is there. The cabinet is that side of Museveni. And the others, delegates from EU, UN and others this way. Said, oh, Matanga is not talking today. Matanga is not talking today. Then he said, you know, Dr. Matanga was a UPC member. Said, my friend, Mr. President, you are the first person to be a UPC member. And Mr. Chisano, if this is the type of jokes we came here, can I have my plane to leave? Can I have my plane to leave? And Your Excellency, I did not come here to have those type of jokes. Because the temperature was high. No, he said, relax, relax, relax. Rugunda said, cool down. Chisano said, please, can't you have a joke? I said, which joke? Said Chisano, which joke? In 1998, I and Chisano were in Rome. When this man, Dagama, kept us for 14 hours. I told him, did you joke? Because Dakama of Renamo wanted $2.5 million, Dakama of Renamo, cash before he signed the agreement. That's a Renamo leader, the late. We waited in the hall with St. Gideon, myself, the late Kiplagat. I have come from far. I've seen these conflicts, you see, so that people should know. When I'm talking, I'm not talking from this mouth street. People here wearing suits, they say they know conflicts. Which conflict? 14 hours. The Pope had to go to the bank. People had to open the bank at night. Italian Central Bank to bring $2.5 million in cash for Dakama of Renamo to sign the agreement. We drank this coffee like 50 cups. Until finally the monster arrived with Kiplagat. The late Kiplagat died without going to Mozambique. And you can know what it means. You know what it means. Because behind the scenes, someone said, let them give you cash first. So when the joke started, President Uhuru and Raila Odinga in 19 hours, they were drinking. How are things, by the way? You know you can't strike the point first. So lastly, President Museveni struck the point. He said, let's go to what you came for. I laid the ground. This is what the rebels want. This is what the real man. He signed for me an agreement, a paper, that this is what I want. I want this, I want that. Some of these things are classified. We put them on the table, and then they say the rest go, some people leave and leave us. Because we had to sort this. We finished the war. Even if Mr. Kony did not sign the agreement, there was no need for us. Because we had already got accountability, truth, reconciliation. 100,020 or so refugees and soldiers, ex-combatants, are they not in Uganda today? They are there, well trained. They are there in the villages digging and doing their work. They have been reconfigured, restituted, integrated into the society. That's what Kenyans should avoid conflict. A conflict is a very bad thing. That is in the nutshell what I'm trying to say. That's why I wanted to explain from this background that let the people read this document. Where they have difficulties, politicians should not bring a narrative. Because already, you see, people have started shooting at the political structure. Kalonzo is a conflict, is a peacemaker. And he has already announced something which is very funny. That is not very comfortable with the Prime Minister's slot. You saw it on 411. And Kalonzo always, in this country, Kalonzo always spoils everything in this country. And at the end, he ends up melting everywhere. So some of these things are not very good at all. They are not very good at all. We should be very careful when we are now interrogating this document, because people need to make a decision. If Kenyans don't want it, they will reject it. It is up to them. But the legacy of President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta would have been served, would have been delivered, and it would be all right. Over to you, Miriam, for more details and other news.
Do we really have other news? But I think you perhaps that could be a very good ending point there.
It can't be an under news, African news, maybe the people in Sudan,
South Sudan.
But that is the basis is very simple. Let's change the narrative to a healing narrative.
From what it was yesterday when
a political
standing up
gesturing and a posturing.
Just wondering about the post and the increase of women in parliament.
Yes.
And that
you
is
see,
not what BBI is about.
You can now see.
So Kenyans are even wondering, is it another political,
yes, this showing that if the woman is that is a political narrative. Let's move to a healing narrative.
Which was the purpose of the BBI.
The purpose of the BBI. And that is my contribution, fellow Kenyans wenziangu, wazalendo. Nataka kuzungumza kwa Kiswahili if you don't mind. Kiswahili yangu si mzuri sana lakini tajaribu. Watu ya Tanzania wako na amani. Lakini amani Tanzania ilikuja kwa sababu President Nyerere alileta amani kupitia kwa msingi. Msingi. Kupitia kwa msingi. Don't tape this. I'm learning Swahili so that my people in Kenya can understand. Kupitia kwa njia ya kufundisha watu ya Tanzania kitu moja, utu. Watu wa Kenya waanze kukua na utu. Wako na utu lakini wakuwe na practical utu. Tupendane na tukue na utu. Ujamaa. Tanzania has grown to where it is. It might be disrupted right now because Open Society Foundation, George Soros has entered there, has picked Chadema, and Chadema is flexing muscles against CCM. One thing that the imperialists will never forgive you. And I told you here, Miriam, I think you will say I'm a prophet. I told you, anybody in Africa today, any president in Africa today, and let Museveni hear this, let Mnangagwa hear this, let Magufuli hear this, let Nyusi hear this, let Ramaphosa hear this, let Swapo hear this. Have you seen the countries I'm telling you? You hear me. Any president, and let Rungu hear this. Any president in Africa where there was a revolutionary party is going to pay a price. That is the doctrine of Open Society Foundation. Look at what is happening in Tanzania. Yesterday they had elections. the whole America and the whole United Kingdom are saying it was not free and fair because CCM garnered 99.9%.
Because the opposition absconded.
Yes.
The opposition parties
The
absconded.
opposition absconded. They refused to take part. So hapo wameingia. Adui hiki kutoka George Soros wameingia Tanzania walai. Wameshaingia Tanzania, wamesha capture opposition, wameanza kufeed opposition, wataka kuangusha CCM. Zimbabwe, look at it. Chamisa is all the time, is gaining. As he grows smaller, the crowd is growing bigger. And he's slowly going towards Jerusalem. He will wake up, bring a revolution in the streets of Harare. If Mnangagwa does not quickly run to put his feet down and demolish the external smelling toxins that people are planning outside internationally, he's in trouble. Frelimo across. Even the chairman of the Electoral Commission said, hello, we did not even know how many votes were counted.
We can't verify the results.
You can see the confusion.
What is the election?
It is a ruling party, a former liberation organization. Across up in Malawi, you remember Kamuzi Banda, the one-party state, a revolutionary who is different from the others, who worked with the whites, but also in the same format, because he worked with the whites, but they never wanted him to be independent. They have dismantled Malawi. Everybody is on the streets. South Africa survives because they do their elections very well. Had they been in this type of East African elections, you would see what would be there. Swap across. MPLA Angola, my in-laws. My in-laws have a problem. Anytime there, look at another state, Botswana. It's gone. Botswana, a smaller state which was very vibrant in democracy, is not anymore.
But I think also what helped it even after the elections that ended is because it has the similar electoral process like that of South Africa. They also have a...
Exactly.
Yes.
So Kenya, in this document, one thing that I'm very happy about, 1 or 2, 3, I have about 5 points I'm happy. The point of sending this guy.
And in fact, I wanted us to talk about it because...
Yeah, this guy called, this one who talks English like he is not a lawyer. This Chebukati. Yes. Send him home.
And before we send Chebukati...
In fact, no. You know what?
Because we've been talking here, and it is apparent, maybe that's why there was a lot of politics yesterday, because all this chaos that comes up in Kenya, it is due to politics and also the electoral process in the country. So some of these are, submissions that were made to have a new IEBC before 2020, and the commission should only serve one contract, a 3-year contract, and they should only conduct one election.
Yes. Because if you conduct several, you become familiar. You become bribable. Chebukati must leave. In fact, the earlier Chebukati does not touch even any process, the better. Let Parliament start there. This book, after Christmas, Mzee, watu wakae tena. Watu wakae. Huyu Chebukati should be the first man to leave that office. Let him not touch another ballot here, because there will be bloodshed. Chebukati, no. They did very well to recommend his disbandment.
So before 2020?
Yes, let the government pay him what is left.
So you only have like a month for Chebukati to vacate if you were to go with those recommendations?
No, let them give him the money. He will be paid.
For the remaining...
yeah, he will be paid. He's not the authority to stand on TV and say, I will not go anywhere. Who are you? If not, the whole of Kenya will come and throw you out. You will go and hold the elections in Indian Ocean. You cannot remain 3 people seated creating chaos in Kibra. You saw the chaos in Kibra. They have not arrested even a single man.
Well, they would have started with Boni Halwale then. And then with the other people, the other leaders who are caught on camera causing some chaos there in Kibra. But I don't know if, because we've been talking about the electoral process a lot in Kenya that really requires a lot of reforms for us perhaps to have, you know, an election that will not result into chaos and all that ugly things that we've been seeing in after every election. So do you think some of this that was submitted in regards to that was able to capture a solution to our electoral process?
It's exactly Chebukati, the election in Kenya. Is muzzled by Chebukati. It's muzzled by Chebukati. It is Mr. Chebukati who decides what you should do and not do. And that is where problems spark from. People start fighting. Said this guy, he doesn't make decisions. So let this commission go. Pay them, the government will pay, compensate to them, and they go. Yeah. If Parliament has removed you, will you stick there? You know why now, why people are worried about Parliament sitting to discuss this thing? It's because of that. Because somebody can buy the whole of Parliament.
I think that's why
ODM is getting worried.
The jitters.
Yes, jitter. That because someone, you know, with the type of MPs we have who always pocket 200,000 shillings from some road in the town.
So they might manipulate
the
process.
So let the entire people of Kenya vote in their way.
I think so too. And I'm not leaning towards any political.
No,
but I'm just.
I don't. For me, I think that the system of a referendum come.
So that's the only route. The people of Kenya can.
The other things can be taken care of
in Parliament.
But if you are going to stabilize this thing once for all, watch what we are going in the Parliament.
So Kenyans can decide whether they want it or not. I think that will be fair.
Yeah.
All right.
So thank you very much, viewers. Thank you very much. Tomorrow is a special show that will bring about a special response. You are aware that the International Criminal Court lastly vindicated some of us. For 10 years or 11 years, I've said the Kenyan cases and most African cases were badly done.
Shoddy jobs, shoddy investigations.
Shoddy and flawed. I even wrote a book, you saw it, very big. It is actually, that book is coming out next month, which is a few days from now. The shoddy investigations. And I am glad that international experts have listened to me. And I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you Kenyans for having supported me on this journey. A journey where I started by being arrested in 2012, charged with Article 70. I thank God for standing, and later on they turned out and said, there is no case to answer. I stand to thank God again. I spent $780,000 on lawyers hired to defend me. To fly between New York, The Hague, hold them in The Hague, Nairobi, hold them in a hotel. I lost my job. Now today, the chief prosecutor comes up to say, we made terrible mistakes. But work, don't let me not finish what is going to click tomorrow.
Let's not spoil it.
I don't know
Yes.
how you'll dress up tomorrow, but
it's going
it
to
is
be
a very fantastic day of delivery for me
for you, yes.
tomorrow, because my 2 lawyers in Britain and the other lawyer have said this is what you have been looking for. In short, they should thank you and apologize to you. You said it, and you are right, but they said I am vexatious. No, vexatious.
Yes.
Not vexatious.
Witness.
Madame called me vexatious because I was saying the truth. So we want to eat these words back. I am just looking. You know, there's one thing that you cannot take me off. This is international law. You know what? I am causing a very nice commission of inquiry, a very big one. A big one into the conduct of the office of the chief prosecutor. The entire office of the 2 prosecutors, how they have handled all African cases. The good thing with international justice, now my American friends know the badness of this court. I'm coming. I told you, I tell you slowly like here, quietly. All these African cases will be reviewed. You know what? You saw the report. It is so damning. If they did that on one case, what about the several cases? How much money have they pocketed out? So this week has been a very good week for this boy here from the mountains. The man hated by very few, a clique of haters from a particular group.
The groups were disbanded yesterday, so
Yeah.
let's just hope for
The
reconciliation.
former group. The group, now we have ceased the fire, we are back.
We're back together now. Let's reconcile. So tomorrow is going to be a very exciting conversation. Of
At
course,
11
a.m. East African time.
it's a special program
Yes, indeed.
on diplomatic dispatches. Diaspora dispatches, sorry. And I believe some can do the poster before he leaves. Diaspora dispatches, and that's it.
A rebuttal on the ICC report.
No, the diaspora, the ICC does a bow turn.
All right.
Vindicates. The ICC, the expert, the report of international experts vindicates Matanga. Let's chat. I'm vindicated. I lost a job. No earnings. I paid my lawyers. They never paid me. Yet I was telling the truth and they called me a liar. So they have to clear me in that same court so that that court does not call me a liar. Have you seen where I've caught them? You don't play with Matanga. I went to this other court here in Somalia. The Somali man had to beg me. If I release the tape now, and if he says, "Nga," I release it. To save his credibility, he said he will retire early. And I agreed. I'm not going to go for him anymore. But if he says "Nga" again on Kenya case, I release the tape. That's how we work. He knows what he did in Brussels. And I want to thank my French friends. Thank you. We are now, thank you very much. Network 24 news, media, 24 investigate. They are tough.
France 24.
No, network, France is 4. These are men, they are men there. They looked for campus money and we got all the accounts. Boss, when we want you, we get. And thank you very much, viewers, wherever you are. Thank you very much. Tomorrow at 11 a.m. East African Standard Time, I and my co-partner will be here delivering exactly what I've just told you. It will be a very exciting moment that today, this week, as I sit, I rejoice ye. 2 things have happened. A redemption strategy arrives in Kenya, and at the same time, the thing that I've been shouting for almost 11 years comes back to say, I was right. Thank you. Over to you, Miriam, to close down.
Yes, indeed. And on that note, we want to thank you so much, our viewers, Ogebia Mott, Chan, Simon, Luke, Eric, Okay, and the rest of you. Thank you so much for engaging with us. Let's meet here tomorrow, 11 a.m. For that special edition of, the case from the ICC. And, of course, we'll be reading you that report from the ICC. But for now, thank you so much and have yourselves a good night.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.